cameras are rolling. We gotta go do the show. Chris, wake up, Chris. Hello. We gotta go do the show. All right. Oh, good. You're awake. Chris, we have to go do the show. I hate you. But it's time to go to the show. I'll be downstairs. Get ready. I hate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh. 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 Cameras in my house. Oh. I do the show. Hey, what's up, Tom?
Hey, the comedian boy again. Huh?
Yeah. Every time I come in there, he's like that.
The comedy business.
The comedy business is poor. Very poor. Alright? John. I like John.
Alright, what can I do for you today? What kind of joke do you have for me?
Any good jokes. I don't have any jokes.
Alright, what you need?
I need this Coke.
Anything else for you?
No.
Well, come on, let's go, man. I don't have time.
I don't have time for this either.
I don't have time for you.
I come in here and all I do is all he does is yell at me when I come in the store.
Crying out loud. Why don't you just go bother somebody else?
Because I got nothing else to do.
Seriously, man.
We're going to do a show today. I'm dressed up. We're going to do a show.
Somewhere else. Go bother somebody else. Tell your lousy jokes to somebody else and leave me alone.
This guy. It's like this every time I come in here.
Every time you come in here because you got lousy jokes.
We're gonna do this. We're doing a comedy show today.
Are you gonna pay me for this?
I don't have any money.
You don't have any money, you ain't getting it. Go try your jokes somewhere else, tough guy. Comedy show, let me get you caught up to speed. Comedy Show is Houston's only late night talk show that focuses purely on comedy. The whole idea behind the show comes from me needing to be on TV at any cost. And and this is a really crappy way to do it. But I will say, we are on as many as one network nationwide. Thanks. The studio audience is cool. Thank the studio audience. And the whole idea behind Comedy Show, once again, is we're going to talk a lot about comedy. We are going to challenge the Houston television community to give us a job. We're going to challenge all the networks. Because our feeling here at Comedy Show is that we can do a better show for free. That we can actually do a better show than they're paying these newscasters in short skirts, lots of money. Do you think we can? Those are the fans right there. That's what I'm talking about. So, all right. I guess what would it be without a monologue on current events? What would it be without me coming out and talking a little bit about something that's going on in the news? Anna Nicole Smith is dead. Did you hear that? Yeah. She very much died. And for the first time ever, deadbeat dads are actually trying to claim the baby. Which is odd. It's like a reverse of what it should be. Normally they try to remember what it is. And if any of you are deadbeat dads and are offended by that, that's fantastic. I want to offend you, you're scumbags. Now, so welcome to Comedy Show. We got a great show tonight. We're going to go to commercial break. We come back. We're going to be joined by Television Tom, my sidekick. All right, commercial break. Let's go. All right. Welcome back to Comedy Show. I'm being joined by Television Tom. Television Tom, ladies and gentlemen. It's not to see anybody. You can't see anything.
Can't see anything.
Yeah, I thought, Television Tom is not used to being on stage. That's why I like him. He looks very uncomfortable. Tom, I want to thank you for dressing up for the show.
Well, anything to make you look more overdressed.
Yeah, dude, you were the worst. You were the worst sidekick ever. Did you ever even watch The Tonight Show?
The what?
The Tonight Show.
I don't think I did.
Didn't you ever see Ed McMahon? See, the audience knows.
Oh,
Ed
you mean the Publishers Clearinghouse guy?
Yes, Ed McMahon who put on a suit, and you look like a broke-ass Unabomber. We should call you.
But then, what's our budget?
Our budget is zero, and thanks for bringing that up. You bastard. Thank you.
That's my job.
So, Television Tom, I understand that right now you got a tooth issue. You got a tooth. Is a tooth bothering you?
There's a hole in my tooth.
Television Tom has a tooth. Ladies?
Exactly.
Lovely ladies at the last spot. You're not supposed to be excited that Tom has a hole. It's supposed to be a girl. Yeah, so we're going to have it pulled. So, be advised, and that's part of the What Would Jason Do production budget cost, which is zero. You're going to have to go to a dentist like in a van or something.
Or in a strip mall.
In a strip mall. Which, by the way, we're coming to you from the lovely Left Spot Comedy Club, Houston's premier comedy night spot. Round of applause. Kind enough to give us this place to do the show. Very nice stage. It's like a nice funeral home feel. And
yeah, stars on the curtains.
Yep. Yeah. So be prepared that the dentists are going to say, dentists lie to you, and they say things like, you're going to feel some pressure, which means it's really going to effing hurt. Yeah. They're going to say you might feel a pinch. And what they mean is a pinch on your freaking brain.
Right. So unlike the tattoo artists who are like, oh, that's going to really hurt.
Yeah. Tattoo artists are. You know a lot about tattoos, Tom?
We do. We've got a few.
You're a very scary guy. I want you to think. Honestly, I think I've made the wrong choice here.
You might have. I don't know. You might want to. Larry, want to come up on stage? Maybe I don't know.
No, we got Lucky Larry on cameras back there. Round of applause for Lucky Larry. We have Aaron back there in sound. Round of applause for Aaron. Helping out with the big show. All right, so
it's a really big show.
So we're gonna cut to a real quick commercial break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna take a trip down what it's like to be a comic on a little road trip. We'll be right back after this. All right. Welcome back to Comedy Show. So, my family, along the way, has encouraged me to do this because I think a lot of times they believe in me as a comic more than I believe in myself. So I have to give a shout out to my family, my wife, and my two lovely kids at the house there. They hate me. To be honest with you. And,
you should get a dog.
And so it
dogs love me all the time.
Yeah, but I don't like dogs. I don't. I like cats.
You don't like cats either.
I don't like cats. I'm kidding. I did know a guy that set a cat on fire one time. I know that was unacceptable, really, because you at least want to have the decency to put him in the microwave. See, that's where the line is drawn. So people always asking me, what is it like to be a comic? And so I decided to take the cameras on the road. We went to Beaumont and we shot some good footage there, and we got some great interviews with some of the comics, the things that happen behind the scenes. We're going to go to the clip right now. Thank you. Apparently we're having audio and we're having the visual feed.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
That's right. I don't know what Larry thinks he's doing.
I got a testicle laugh. Did you hear that? It's totally bizarre. This is a weird crowd. I like them.
I'm Chris Kerner and I'm in Tokyo. Actually, I'm just screwing around. I'm in Beaumont, Texas. We came out tonight to Comedy Texas. We're going to go outside and see what's going on. Welcome to Comedy Show.
You guys ready?
Yeah!
You ready, Beaumont? Mr. Chris Kerner! What's up, Beaumont? How you doing? This is a fucked up view from right here. Trust me on this. People always ask me, they go, Chris, what's it like to be a comic? What's it look like up there in the crowd? This is pretty much what it looks like. You guys are in control. Nice to see you. Some of you are dressed up for the show. That's very nice. I love Beaumont. Beaumont's my favorite town. You know why? Because it's here. Beaumont's great. On the way into Beaumont, they used to have this sign on the freeway. It said, Beaumont, visit a happy place. Where is it? What a piece of crap slogan that is. I got a better one. How about Beaumont? Our hookers are cheaper than Houston.
I'm hanging out with my friend Slade Ham. Slade, how you doing? Nice to see you. Slade is the owner here of the Comedy Texas, co-owner.
Oh, yeah?
And I have to tell the story because this is something I know about Slade. Years ago, Slade was the bartender at the comedy club here in Beaumont. As proof of the American dream, I sit down at the bar one night as a comic. This guy, and by the way, he's a scruffy-looking, long-haired hippie guy.
I had to before he cut his hair.
On a 4-day bender. I never wanted to say anything about his look, but it was creepy.
Borderline boy. I don't.
Not a Brady Lee during the Crow era.
So we sit down. I sit down there and they get a Coke and I don't drink. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm getting into comedy. And deep down inside, I was thinking to myself, don't.
Yeah, because you go through a phase where you ask people, man, you ask them the questions like, at the time I was hitting you up for information from people like C.W. Kendall and some of these hell guys. I was so hungry to go do gigs like this. It was.
Did we just change camera guys? What the hell?
Hey, I was doing a good job.
It's hard to get a good camera guy.
Hey, I was doing a good job. I'm out.
Normal camera guy with
Were you zoomed out enough to miss me zipping my pants?
I was doing a good job, bro.
You were doing a good job.
Straight up, I was.
So Slade, I'm gonna let you tell your story, but Slade is so great because he's all, yeah, I'm gonna get into comedy, you know, and I'm never one to like tell a guy don't try something, but deep down inside I'm screaming, no way. Now, as it turns out, the funny thing come to reality, come to fruition, is that the guy becomes a very established, very successful comic. That's why we're featuring him here on the show, comedy show. But not only that, he becomes the owner of the comedy club. And, you know, I sat down one day and I asked him, I said, you know, how many times does somebody sit down at that bar and just go bartender on you, not realizing that one day you'd be holding their, you know, their cojones as the club owner. So it must be nice to speak revenge. But I have a couple quick questions. How long have you been doing comedy?
I started in April of 2000.
April of 2000.
Not as long as you think.
Right on. And favorite story from the road? Anything that really sticks? A road story that jumps out.
You know, it's weird, man. You've done the overseas stuff too. So
I've done the overseas.
I think the stuff that stands out, you know, it's being the drunk guy. I remember being in Okinawa and.
Okinawa, that's in Germany.
That's
how drunk he was.
Yeah, we need a continuity director and a cameraman. We're over there, and I was with my buddy, and we're walking out of Kadena Air Base, and I respect homeless guys and their creative efforts to make money. I don't mind giving a guy $1 if he's doing something for it.
I'm with you.
And this is the oldest guy I've ever seen in my life. He's got groupies and a guitar, and he's going, I'm in Jimi Hendrix. I play Jimi Hendrix. You give me $1, you cocksucker. And he called people cocksucker was the amazing part, and you'd still give him money because he did the most amazingly out-of-tune version of Purple Haze I've ever seen. And I'm like, Purple Haze, I'm in my face. Jimmy, give me $1, cocksucker. And you feel slightly obligated to give that $1.
I would give him $1 hoping that he wouldn't attempt to go cocksucker on me.
But it's the beautiful thing about being on the road. You'll never experience that in your hometown. You'll never experience that, you know, and it took me being on the other side of the world to just, you know, you see little stories like that.
Yeah.
And I collect stories.
And best show as a club owner, or best night, or most amazing story that sticks out as a club owner in a comedy club, weirdness that you have seen?
I've seen so many things happen. I've seen buddies of mine come in. I like comics with no ego. You know, there's a lot of stars in this business. Ralphie May came in one weekend, and Ralphie does phenomenal here.
Yeah.
He always draws. He always does amazing. The guy that was scheduled that weekend was Don Barnhart. And I don't know if you know Barnhart or not.
Out of Canada?
No, he's out of Vegas now. He lived in LA for a while.
I got it. He's a real dirty guy.
No, he's very he's relatively clean, very pro.
Oh, that Don Barnhart.
Yeah, the other guy. Yeah, you're like flipping the coin there. Really dirty? No, it could have been one of the two.
I'm outside the loop on this deal.
Great guy. He was scheduled to headline, and
You know what, man, we've been in this situation as comics so many times where somebody calls us up last minute and goes, dude, I got to cancel you because... And Ralphie had an open weekend that weekend, and I didn't want to fall down. I go, look, will you come in and feature the show for the same money? And I go, I'll pay you headliner pay. Just, do you mind dropping? Dude, I don't care. It's not about the ego. And he comes in, goes up in front of Ralphie, takes 2 standing O's Friday night as a feature, which, yeah, never happens.
Yeah.
And those are the cool moments when you see a guy that is so not ego-driven, he doesn't mind dropping down and featuring a show, and still gives you that 100% A game. And then Ralphie, of course, 2 standing ovations. You know, we had Ron White stopped in for a guest shout.
Really?
Nights like that where you just go, there's $25,000 comics coming in and doing 20 minutes for free. You know, and they're magic to be a part of. You know what it's like when a great guy walks into a show.
The weirdest thing about the Ron White thing was he went, cocksucker!
And he played Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
And it was the weirdest.
You know what, dude?
Good call.
You're one of the good guys in the business, and you know what, man? I appreciate you taking the time out and hanging out with me, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And you're right, man. There's a lot of ego guys, you know, and I hate them all. That's why I called the show Comedy Show with Chris Kerner, pretty much. But yeah, what do you want to add? Step up. Story from the road. Come on.
You don't have any stories from the road.
I got one.
Oh, wait, this is a great story. Hang
All
on.
right, lay it on me.
This is the thing. I wanted to tell the Sean Rouse story.
All right.
However, this story trumps any story I've got right now. This is a great road story.
Let this man introduce himself to all the viewers.
Hi, I'm Justin Thompson. I've only been doing comedy like 2 years, but I do have one great story. First show I'm ever doing, first paid gig, it's only paying like $50. It's in Winnie, Texas. Driving to the gig, it's only like 35 minutes from my house.
Fucking Winnie's a suburb of Beaumont.
Yeah.
To quote the late Charlie Shannon, and I must title this bit, Stopping in Winnie to Take a Poop.
That's right. That's how I was a little bit late. Great Charlie Shannon, that's right.
But I'm driving to the gig, and I'm listening to the Opie and Anthony show. And Jim Norton's on the show that day, and they're really ragging on some lady, and I start to laugh incessantly. And I crap my pants. I'm 5
The story gets better. The story gets
He
better.
crapped his pants. These things happen.
The story gets better.
I'm 5 minutes from the gig. I pull over to a gas station thinking that, well, maybe it was just a little squirt. No. It is deep through my pants and is in the formation of a penis.
Wow.
Filled
It's shaped
with
that way.
scrotum. With
Wow. That is miraculous.
It's there and after too, right?
So, I have there's nowhere to buy pants in Winnie. And the gig starts in like a half hour.
Everybody at Winnie buys clothes elsewhere.
Yeah.
They buy clothes in town.
I'm on this show, and I'm pulling up at the gig. I get out of the car.
And I have on a flannel shirt, which is like red and green. For all intents and purposes, I look like I'm wearing a kilt.
So go ahead.
And so I get out of the
Keep on
car,
interjecting.
and the guy who's booked the show comes up to me and goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I went, "You really don't want to shake my hand right now." He said, "Why?"
Great story.
I said, "You're about my size. I need pants." He said, "Why?" I was like, "I would rather not say." And he said, "Well, you got to tell me why you need my pants." I went, "I've just crapped them." So, being so young into comedy, didn't think that he would go and automatically tell every comic in the room.
I pull up. Here's the thing. I pull up. Everybody's laughing their ass off in the parking lot. And I look up and I go, this has got to be gold. I've been on the road long enough to know when there's a bunch of comics outside a building laughing, something's worth hearing. He's standing with his shirt wrapped around it's this red plaid shirt wrapped around his waist like a kilt. And the first words out of my mouth when I hear the story, I go, oh, Roddy Pooper. Keep going. I want to take away your thunder.
And needless to say, I did get ragged on it quite a bit, but I eventually did get the pants, and I never wore that flannel shirt, nor those other pants again. Did it in front of like, I don't know, what was it, like maybe 75 people?
Yeah, you know what? It was a good show.
It was a good little gig,
Oh.
but my first gig is my first road story ever, and it has to be one of the worst road stories that I can ever imagine. because I even tried. I went to some place and I went, "Do you have pants?" And they went, "Nope, we got underwear." I'm like, "That's a start."
All right, dude. Thanks, brother. Thanks. Comedy show. Back to you, Chris. Later. Awesome.
Empty wall of cigarette packs. Why don't you start with that up there?
This is, yeah, man.
That's what you gotta understand. God damn it.
You should consider cutting back
That's
a little bit there. That's Thursday.
No,
So
January.
now we're hanging out in the office here, and what a lot of people don't realize is that most comedy club offices do not look like this.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Because most people hire maids.
Yeah, well, whatever. No, I actually run all the I've been drinking tequila. What's the
This office wouldn't have any. Was this office clean before you started drinking tequila, Slade?
Yeah, I was a little mad, but I run everything out of my home office.
Yeah.
This is kind of storage.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I hope so.
It was supposed to be a green room, and then it became a place to put this table. We didn't have anywhere else to put, and then stuff got put on the table, and next thing you know...
There's a chair right here. This is where you conduct interviews with comics. So, how much time can you do?
All right, what's up? Standing here with Dean Austin. Dean,
Yep.
thanks for taking some time out.
Thank you, man.
This is the first time I met Dean, and we worked all weekend. Very funny guy, very good act. Do that little voice that you do with like the girls.
Hey there!
That's awesome.
Everybody loves the girls, man. Girls love the girls. That's what's crazy, you know. They always try to get me to do it after the show.
Right on.
And I don't do it after the show, but I did it for you because you're my man. You know
Thanks.
what I'm saying?
Hey, it's a good thing I didn't ask him to grab my ass.
Right,
You
right.
might
That's
have.
a good thing.
Yeah. So, thanks for taking time out to talk with us. How long have you been doing comedy, man?
I've been doing comedy for 15 years, man. Yeah,
15 years.
15 years.
For the record, in dog years, what?
It's like 139 years.
139 dog years.
Yeah.
You got a good story from the road? Like
I got
worst gig or best gig or something?
One of the worst gigs, I was doing an overseas gig, and we were in a tour bus, and the other comedian, I don't want to mention his name, but he had bladder problems, and we kept stopping the bus. We kept stopping the bus because he had a bladder problem, but this time it was serious.
Right.
He ate some bad fish, so he had to, you know, relieve himself in another way. And he ended up going to the bathroom, and it went in his shoe, and went all over the tour bus, and he was touching stuff, and it was just gross. That was, it was so bad. It was to the point, but he was such a jerk. But he was embarrassed, so I felt bad for him.
Right.
So that was the worst story. Yeah, it was bad, man.
That
It
is
was bad.
awesome. So, you live out in L.A.?
I live in L.A.
Yeah.
From Northern Cali, but I live in L.A.
Yeah. And you got any good Hollywood stories out there?
Good Hollywood story. I have a Hollywood story. A friend of mine actually stand up as well. He does porno now.
Fantastic.
Met him we were doing open mic spots in LA when we first moved there, just getting some stage time, and I saw him one day. He's like, "Man, you doing all right." He looked kind of flashy. He had the long fingernail and like clothes. He's like, "Oh man, I'm doing." So what you doing? He said, "I'm making adult films." I said, "What you doing?" He said, "I need to make some money." So he did that, and I'm like, "Man, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You can't be a big star. That's like Eddie Murphy, trying to do adult films."
So, I mean, but that's a natural progression. I can see how you'd go, well, let's see, comedy, porno.
Yeah.
That's an easy thing, I guess.
It's easy. Both times you got to hit the stage. And he literally had to hit the stage, but, that's just how comedy is.
Oh, my God. So, Beaumont treated you good then? We had a good time?
Beaumont was great. The weather, you can see, is a little wet, but it's nice. But Beaumont's always good to me. And, of course, it's a pleasure meeting a young man that has a nice suit jacket.
Yeah, you got this at Super Walmart.
Super Walmart?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was $8.
High class.
Yeah,
high class.
The buttons are they're all wrong. So you got any advice for young comics out there? Because the whole thing about comedy shows is to show about comedy.
Young comics, let me tell you this. First of all, I'm just going to say, in order to do comedy, you have to have a passion to it, because it's not, I don't say it's hard, but it's not easy. Because it's more mental than anything. It's not even so much about the material, about anything. It's mental. You have to really mentally be prepared to have rejection in your life and sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice a lot, you get a lot of rejection. So whatever you have a passion for, if you have a passion for it, you keep going and you enjoy yourself. And that's what kept me around so long. I have a passion to make people laugh.
And, he's absolutely right about that. I second that emotion, because if you don't have the passion, you
wind up doing porno. And Dean Austin, man, thanks for taking time out.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate it. It was good working with you.
Thank you.
Best of luck. Best of luck to you. Back out. Comedy show. Later. That was an amazing clip. And here's the thing that I didn't realize and nobody knew. That was 2 poop stories. And amazingly enough, 2 poop stories in the same night. I never had a poop story on the road, and I got 2 poop stories. I got a poop story in Beaumont, and I got a poop story in LA. It's amazing. So we're going to cut the commercial. We're going to be right back. We're going to watch Catching Up with Ray Barnett when we get back. Cut the commercial. All right. Welcome back. Along the years, I've been on the road doing this, and I've met a lot of great guys. And one of my favorite comics of all time was a guy, Ray Barnett. And Ray Barnett has literally been everywhere. We're going to watch a clip. I caught up with Ray at a comedy club, and we had a talk. And he basically gave us some stories from the road, some things of that nature. And he and I started right about the same time. So we're going to go to this clip now, Ray Barnett. We can applaud for the clip. We're going to go to this clip now. The clip, Ray Barnett. What's up? Of course, I'm Chris Kerner here, and we've caught up with my friend Ray Barnett, comedian Ray Barnett. Ray, thanks for spending some time with us. Thanks for having me. I have to tell you a story. Ray, when did you start doing comedy?
One day after you started doing comedy.
One day after I started doing comedy. And Ray, that would have been February of 1998.
1998, a long time ago.
Do you remember how bad a comic you were?
I remember how bad I was because I hated this guy, because this guy was funny out of the gate. And it's so rare to be funny out of the gate. I wasn't. I had to learn the craft. He was gifted, I guess. So yeah, I remember how bad I was.
Gifted in a shiny helmet sort of way. I have to tell you something though about Ray. Was that, and I've teased Ray about this for years now, so I've known him since 1998. It was the second time I was ever on stage. It was his first time. But when I came in the room, he was on stage, and he did a joke that was so bad. There was a series of jokes. And I remember saying to myself, and I say this out of love and respect.
As long as I can be better than this guy.
I remember saying to myself, well, I'm bad when I'm not that bad. And then something happened. 6 months down the road, I saw Ray again, and he had gotten very, very good. And in fact, he was booked and working as a comic before me, I think. Like in the more legitimate room, like the rooms I wanted to get into.
That's surprising.
Ray was in there before me, like at Danny's.
That was surprising.
The comedy showcase and stuff.
Well, there's hustle. You got to hustle, So when I first started, though, this guy was like a god, and of course I had to learn the craft. So it's it's a progression. It's like climbing a ladder.
You had to kiss my ass. It's public access.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to ask you questions. We already established that you started in 1998.
1998.
Can you tell us what was the best show you ever had? Like the best show?
That's so hard to pinpoint because they kind of amass themselves. You always strive, at least I strive, keep going. The good shows don't stand out as much as the bad shows stand out.
But
and you know how that is.
Then what's the worst show you ever had?
What's the worst show? And again, those compile years. Obviously, when you're new, every show's the worst show. But that's the cool. Here's what I like to tell people: is I can't pinpoint the worst show really, but I love having a bad show because a bad show means there's room for improvement, and it has to happen sometimes where you fall on your face. You can learn to pick yourself up again. Does that make sense? As far as a bad show goes, recently I'm doing a no-name show in a no-name bar, and I wasn't even on the bill. I was just like, hey, Ray, do you want to go up? We know you're funny. And I went up, and it was like a 10-minute guest spot of just death. It was like these people stared at me, and I couldn't get a laugh to save my life. But at those point in times, I'm funny, and it's them, and I'm not worried about it, So, and I wasn't getting paid, so I wasn't really sweating it. That works. When you're getting paid, then there's a little more pressure.
I remember my worst show. I did comedy at a trailer park for $2.
Good time.
And I did it twice. Because the first time I did it, I didn't get paid.
Yeah.
So I went back to the payday.
Yeah. You needed the money. How bad is that?
Yeah, that's terrible. All right. So, best story from the road that you can think of, like the best, or like a famous guy story, or anything like that.
You can't talk about smoking weed with Dave Chappelle, can you?
You can talk about smoking weed with Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool experience because that's before he was the Dave Chappelle he is today. And he came up to me in a comedy club and said, "You got some weed?" And I said, "Yeah."
So Dave Chappelle's hitting the white guy in the comedy club for weed.
Yes, yeah, isn't that kind of ironic? No, but one of the funniest stories ever happened actually in Daleville, Alabama. Have you done the Daleville, Alabama comedy club?
I have not.
Or not comedy club, it's a bar that does comedy on Wednesday nights in Daleville, Alabama. The headliner's name was Moonsey or something, I won't forget it. I shouldn't even give him credit because he's this big of a jerk. But I'm new to the road, so I'm in my room, you know, and I'm like, you know, I'm on the road working road comedy.
It's exciting.
Daleville, Alabama, it's exciting. And I get this phone call from the club and they say, I just want to make sure you know you have to be clean tonight. And I said, well, that's not a problem. I'm not that dirty a comic. He goes, no, son, because you have to be clean because the owner was recently saved. And he goes, we're very serious about this. Last week, the headliner got taken off the stage for saying GD. And I went, okay. And I go, okay, well, no problem. He goes, and we need you to wear a nice shirt, button-down crisp shirt with a tie. And that's where I kind of thought, all right, is this a joke? Am I getting my leg pulled? I said, all right, I don't even have a tie. Wear the best shirt you have. We actually have a box of ties underneath the bar. Just ask the bartender. He'll get you set up. I go, is this real or is this a joke? I'm trying to be gracious to the guy. So as soon as I get off the phone, I call the headliner's room. I said, hey, what's the deal? He says, come on over. You've never been here before. No, it's my first time. He goes, well, you need to be really clean. Don't curse at all. And wear a nice shirt. Just dress up. They're really big about that. So I'm like getting a double fed. I'm like, this guy told me this. This guy's confirming it. Right. So I'm in my room going, this can't be. We're in Daleville, Alabama, near a military base. It can't be that clean and that uptight. So I call a couple comedians that I know that have worked the room, Caroline Picard, Jim Holder, and nobody was answering their phone. So I'm sweating it like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Finally, I start thinking, is this a joke? Because this could be a joke. I even called a booking agent saying, I didn't get a memo that we have to be super duper. You know, I'm really sweating it by now. And so then I go, you know, I could be getting my leg pulled. I'm going to be prepared for the worst. I go to the bar. The headliner comes in, and I go, if this guy's pulling my leg, I'm going to introduce him the most amazing way possible. Like, he's a juggler, he's a hypnotist, he breathes fire, he's going to do all this stuff tonight, he does a handstand closer, you're going to love this guy, please welcome. And they had a house MC that did the announcement, so I couldn't even get back at this guy. It was the headliner going, I was just messing with you, kid.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that totally sucked.
That totally sucked. But the cool thing about it was, I rocked the show, and I sold more merchandise than the headliner did. So.
You see, I hate that, because that happened to me, too. A similar story like that, where I was in New Orleans, and I was working at a predominantly African-American venue, and the headliner called up my room and says, you know, there's a problem because, you know, last time we had a white boy work the room, there was an issue, and they don't want it to happen again, and so, I mean, I spent the whole day sweating it like that. But box full of ties in a bar in Arkansas would have been my key, but you never know on the road.
I never knew, and even he was very convincing. So we have church here. I go, it's a bar. We have church services here on Thursday nights, and I was just like, if this is real, I don't want to tick them off. This is my first time here. Once you realize it's a throwdown, a dirty bar, but once you sweat something, if you're in your room worried about it all day long, it will affect your show. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, he's right. He's right, dude. And I know in Ray, and I envy Ray because Ray's done a lot of military tours, but overseas. He's done the Middle East, Bahrain. He did Germany and Italy, right?
Germany, Italy, Sicily, Japan, Korea, Okinawa, Guam, several times.
He's the only guy. Let me pick up. He's the only guy that I know that has a picture of Saddam Hussein on money.
Yeah, and I still have it. Can I show it?
Yeah, show it. He carries it around with him.
Well, it's kind of my good luck piece because I still try to think of the troops and what they really suffer. Yeah. And people say, hey, thank you for doing it. And I say, thank you for having me. This is kind of like...
Look at that.
That's actually Saddam Hussein. And this would be a $50 bill if it had any value, but it has no value because we've ousted him. Wow. Figure.
They're going to hang him.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's in the cell right now and they've taken away his shoelaces so that he doesn't hang himself? I'm just curious. All right, I appreciate you taking time. I have one final question for you, Ray.
Yes, sir.
Because I know your time is limited. What would you be doing if you weren't doing stand-up?
Boy, that is a tough question. I hope I'd be doing stand-up. I hope I'd be striving to be doing stand-up. And even when, like, if my career is ever over, I hope I still have a toehold in the comedy somehow. At least writing and stuff, you know. But if I was doing comedy...
Car hopping Sonic?
No, there's a weight limit on that, so I wouldn't wait. I don't know. Honestly, we'll find out once this interview's over.
Ray Barnett, thanks for your time, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. All right, back to the home base. Let's see back.
So how about Ray pouring money, man? Ray in the Saddam Hussein bill is incredible. Ray's a very great comic. I envy him on a number of levels. I think he's great. And he's a very dear friend of mine. So, all right, we're gonna go to a commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna round out the show with the great Andy Huggins.
Andy Huggins.
Andy Huggins. welcome back to Comedy Show. So we're in our final segment of the evening, and what show would be complete without catching up with a comic legend in his business. Andy Huggins has been in this game for a very long time. You guys have seen Andy, haven't you?
Yeah.
A great comic. And we caught up with Andy, and he was kind enough to lend a little time to us and let us know some of the things that, by the way, Tom,
they've actually irritated him.
And by the way, Tom, I don't think Andy likes me, but I like Andy like you would believe.
Andy doesn't like a whole lot of people.
And I'm going to tell you something, kind of off the topic, your beard, it looked very nice tonight.
What, thank you.
Yeah. And that's not
with those gray hairs or something?
And that's not in a gay way.
Right.
You know.
Whatever.
No.
We believe that. Awkward.
Okay, so let's go to this clip of Huggins, Andy Huggins.
What's happening, everybody? Chris Kerner here. I'm here with Andy Huggins, and I have to let you know Andy has been doing this for a very, very long time. He was gracious enough to sit down and talk with us. I met Andy several years ago and went on a trip to Vegas, and Andy and I worked Las Vegas together, and that's the first time I got to really know him, and I realized he doesn't like me at all. So that's good. He doesn't like the young comics. But no, Andy, thanks for taking over.
You know. The fact of the matter is, your dad lives in Vegas.
He does live in Vegas.
That's right. That's right. You were visiting your dad and had a cold.
This is how much Andy cares. He doesn't even remember that trip, which is good. No, which is good too. But Andy, thanks for taking time out and sitting in with us. Let me know, how long have you been doing comedy?
Since '79, which would make it what, 21, 27? It'd be 28 years this month.
28 years. Yeah. Does anything stand out, like anything, you know, really shining in your career that stands out, like as a moment of greatness, or, you know, a story that's memorable, something that's, you know?
Well, the single best moment has nothing to do with stand-up, really. I wrote some jokes for the Oscars that Billy Crystal, actually 2 years. I got him to Robert Wool, who was on the staff. He got him to Crystal, and Crystal did, I think, one year and 3 the next year. But the first year was a joke that Crystal did, and they cut to the audience, and there's Jack Nicholson laughing, and that's as happy as I've ever felt about what I did for a living. And there've been a lot of great moments. I mean, anytime you're on stage killing, it's a great moment. But that was a great moment.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Anything stand out as a worst moment, or anything really bad stand out?
Here's the worst thing in stand-up, and I don't know how long you've been doing it really, but
about 8-9 years.
I'm guessing you've gone through a patch where you're on stage and you just don't care. You just don't care.
Last weekend.
Yeah, you know, bombing's horrible.
Yeah.
Bombing's horrible. Horrible is going up there when you know you don't have a chance before the show even starts. You know you're dead. I played a USO tour in Japan, and we went to, we did some shows on the base, but we did some shows off base where all the soldiers hung out, like nightclubs, disco type, whatever they call discos these days. You're dead in the water before the show even. And those were horrible nights, horrible, because there's not a thing you can do. You just got to go up there and talk to yourself for a half hour. But even worse than bombing is being on stage and just not caring. As far as, you know, we've all worked bars with rowdies, and that's ugly, and you feel bad about it, and but not caring.
Not caring.
Not caring is the worst. No disaster. I can't think of any, like,
no.
You know, something like where I was embarrassed, where I did something that embarrassed. I used to drink. One time, Wichita, I was working. You know Gary Richardson? I was working with another.
Gary Richardson.
Yeah. I was working with him, and I was drinking back in those days, and I had too much to drink the second show Friday night, and I went on stage, and I woke up the next morning and I didn't remember anything about the show, and it was Saturday morning, and I was convinced I was going to get fired, because I figured, well, if I can't remember the show, it must have been awful. I mean, how good could you? So I spent the entire day on the edge of my seat, waiting for the phone to ring in the condo, thinking they're going to fire me. They got to fire me. They got to fire me. Never rang. Got to the club that night, and I figured, well, they're going to fire me, or at least yell at me. I don't remember what I did. It couldn't have been any good. It couldn't have been any good. Nobody said anything to me. Gary never said anything. I've run into Gary, and I have yet had the nerve to ask him what happened, what was it like, was I up there a half hour?
Awesome.
I haven't the slightest idea. That's probably as bad as I've ever felt, just because my behavior was just, and you know that, who knows what I did?
Yeah.
Who knows what I did?
Well, the people in Wichita. The people in Wichita.
Yeah, you know, it might be the, who knows?
Well, Andy, one last question for you, and we appreciate your time.
I appreciate your time.
Any type of advice you could give to younger comics or anybody who's getting into this business out of curiosity?
Here's what I would suggest to anybody who wants to do stand-up. And let's assume for a moment that this person is funny.
Yeah.
Not always a safe assumption. I'm talking to somebody who wants to get in comedy. But let's assume, and this serious, if you're a funny person, trust your judgment, then listen to the audience. Do what you think is funny. If the audience laughs, keep it. If they don't laugh, get rid of it. So that's the two. Just take a deep breath, trust your instinct. Then, you know, that's the great thing about stand-up, and that's the fascinating thing when you see people that won't get out of it, even though they have yet to get 3 laughs in a row. You know,
he's talking about me.
No, you go by open mic nights, and you see people that have been coming by for years, and they have yet to get.
They love the abuse.
So you would think that stand-up, I mean, it's just such an immediate cause and effect. You do the joke, it gets a laugh, or it doesn't get a laugh. You do a joke, you figure that would immediately separate the good, the funny people from the unfunny people, or the good comics from the bad, but it doesn't for some unfortunate reason.
That's awesome. Well, that's it for now. Andy, anything else you want to add?
No.
That's it. Andy's done. We're done. Thank you for taking time out, and we appreciate it. We'll see you back at the show.
Yes. Andy Huggins. You notice Andy was name dropping on there?
He was Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal, Robert Wall, and Jack Nicholson. Very cool. Brushes with greatness. That's the kind of entertainment. Those are the types of people that we bring on the show.
To get here.
That's right. I got nothing. One time I opened for Jimmy Walker. That's it.
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Walker. That's it. Dynamite.
Jimmy Walker.
Right. So, as a tradition here on Comedy Show, when we say goodnight, we always invite the crowd up, and everyone from the crowd comes up on the stage, and we all hang out. We do some dancing. We do some break dancing, and Sandy Poo will take off his shirt. Well, the ladies like Sandy Poo. And that's it. Thank you for coming out to the Comedy Show. My name is Chris Kerner. We have television on.